Alright, we're back. This box has a series of boards that make a 24 by 30 inch area for your workspace. That is a fire resistant board. It's called tempered hardboard. It works really good to slow the flame down. It will burn, but it burns slow. Recommended if you drop some hot something on it, you definitely put water on it to put it out. But you can also buy a whole sheet of it for $8 at Lowe's, Menards, Home Depot, those kind of places, in case you want to cover your whole table, or maybe use it for a floor roller if you got carpet. That's a chair roller for floor. I'm going to open some of these tools now. Let me get this one up here. This is a spider. And the spider, there's a whole website out there on my site to show you how it's used. But I'll go ahead and get you a quick view here. Alright, it's unwrapped now. This is what it looks like. The 3 legs go in various spots. And it's used for putting on bales and other components. Alright, that's the spider. This is a 10-piece file set. One of these files is really special. It has only 3 sides. On those 3 sides, 2 of them are flat and 1 of them has teeth. That enables us to file next to things in the cracks and in square corners without damaging the other side. There's a lot of other nice files in this kit, but that is the most important one. That is a memory wire cutter. What's nice about it is when we're cutting bales and round things, it has a sharp cut. So it makes a nice shear cut. It doesn't have squished up edges or points like you do with dikes. That is a straight shear. It is very nice for materials, good clean cut. It is designed to cut anything 20 gauge or less. These jaws are fairly thin, so you can get close to things with them when you're shearing. But your problem is if you take and put something too big in there, it's going to spread this and ruin your shears. Shears should not fold something over. I recommend when you're first starting, when you're cutting things, cut as close back in the jaw as you can. That should help you with keeping your shears last longer. This is a looping plier. This is used for making bales. Typically I would wrap my bale around one of these jaws after finishing. This is a copper tongs. This is the only tool that we allow in the pickle. We don't want to ruin our pickle. We don't want to take the plating off our tweezers. So that's the only tool that's not in the pickle. This is a needle nose tweezer with a wooden handle so that you can handle it when it's hot. I don't recommend you put it into the flame, but you can get it warm a little bit without ruining it. This is a crosslock tweezer or inspection tweezer. The old fellows used to put diamonds in there and look at them and look at their light and check your gem faces and stuff like that. But we use it to hold things in place without us having to hold them. It's not really good for manipulating solder, whereas that other one I just showed you is. This is a cross-cut file. Notice how it goes both directions. It's pretty aggressive, but it's really nice to have a little bit bigger one than some of those that are in the package. This is a titanium pick. This allows you to move materials around when you're working, so that you can push things around. This is a metric and inches scale. Actually, is it a scale or a ruler? I don't know. It measures things. This beginning kit comes with a 925 punch. It's good for rings. I believe it is a 1mm punch. This is a bezel roller. We use it for tightening up scalloped and serrated bezels and burnishing on the sides for plain bezels. And those are the bezels. So that is the main small tool kit. Let's look at some expendables. These are blue and yellow wheels. That's a silicon wheel with some aluminum oxide in it for making rough grinding, and actually this is called a fine wheel, but it really works really fast and takes a lot of material off. This is a yellow buffing wheel, muslin wheel, 1 inch. This is some white diamond polishing compound. This is a rough compound, so if you've made a mess or you have to get something off, it's a lot of material, you can do that. This is called Zam. It is a finer polishing material. This is my final polishing material. Some folks actually use this to cut stones and finish polish on stones. For face masks, you always want to wear a face mask when you're polishing, and of course you want your safety glasses on when you're doing your work. These are T-pins, 100 of them. So we use those to pin things on our charcoal block while we're working, so that we have the ability to hold things in place if we get in an emergency. Typically we don't have those touching the metal, but they're there in case something goes wrong, and that's when we might use the pick. These are binder clips. I use those for holding bales up while I pre-solder them. These are 2 fine mist spray bottles. They have a pattern that's fairly covered. You might have a little open hole in the middle, but for the most part you have a round pattern that gets a nice spray. 2 of them come in the kit. Okay, that was the Expendables kit. Next we have the dry acid pickle, pound of that. Flux mix, 8 ounces of that. Set of dowels for holding and shaping. We use those a lot in our classes. Keeps our fingers out of the proximity of hammers and things. We have a ring clamp. What's nice about the ring clamp is it has a leather jaw on both ends that allow you to hold things while you're polishing them. You put them in that end, push your wedge down against something, then you can go into your grinders and polishers, or hold it and use your tools around it, or put it in a vise and use 2 hands on it. This is a nylon hammer. I'm going to suggest that when you get this, you go ahead and put some glue on here and tighten it down as tight as you can. These heads are replaceable, but nobody has the replacements. The hammer is only like a $16 hammer, so this weight is a reason that they have to have the screw-in heads, just to give it a little bit more mush. When you're hitting with this hammer, you want to make sure you hit very, very flat, because like all hammers, if you hit it to the side a little bit, you're going to make dents. Some of my students have said that they take and they round these a little bit better than they are. I find that if you're hammering flat like you're supposed to be with the hammer, you won't get many marks with it. This is a 3-pound bench block. It's premium surface on all sides. Be careful, the edges are sharp. You may want to deburr those yourself when you get it home. This is a ring mandrel. It goes from size 16 down to size 1. We use it to hammer on. We use it to size ring. This is a dome chasing hammer. You want to be careful with it, not to hit solid things with it or you will damage it or the solid things. Typically you're making a contemporary hammered finish with that particular hammer. We then have a charcoal block. This is a 2.5 by 5. We also include a wire for wrapping it so that the first time you heat it up it doesn't break apart. And of course we have the torch that I like the most. It's the one that has the gauge on it, my favorite torch. Has a safety lock so you can't pull the trigger, and then an unlock. When you're getting these kind of torches you want to be really careful. When they come they're all the way open, so you want to turn it all the way to the right. You don't want to force it once you get there. Once it stops, leave it there. Don't keep playing with it. You can ruin the valve by over tightening it. And then of course we have the Lazy Sue soldering board that comes in your kit as well. Thanks for watching. You can find these tools at spiderholedown.com as a group. You can find them individually at silversmithingclasssupplies.com, or you can find them in my class. Come take one. If you come to the retreat, the box is included in the beginning class as well as the intermediate box. Hope to see you there.